Trustee, age, date, and who you voted for.
Yeah, I'm 42. I'm from the greatest political state of Wisconsin. I voted for Donald J. Trump 5 out of 6 times.
You couldn't have done that.
How
That's
do
not
you
possible.
how do you vote for Donald Trump 6 times?
Well, I could have voted for
We're
him
talking
6.
about the primaries and stuff like that.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, hold
How
on.
many,
You're
how many
old for
times did he run? Hold on. How many times did he run for president?
Three times nationally.
Right.
He's
that
he's
means
talking
you
about
couldn't
also
have
the
voted him for
primaries.
6 times.
Did he
I
run for
voted for-
president locally?
No,
Well, you
I
said
only
nationally,
voted for
I'm
him
just wondering.
5.
Lane,
Yeah.
open the
couldn't
panel
have,
age,
if he's
date,
only
and who you
ran-
voted for. Hold on. Lane, age, date, and who you voted for.
Texas 31 voted for Joe Jorgensen.
Who?
So you voted for Trump. Thank you so much.
I didn't vote for Trump, dipshit. I voted for a libertarian.
Yeah,
Third
well,
party
that was
means you
never
voted
going to
for
fucking
Trump.
win.
Right.
Glad
by
you voted,
voting third-
but I wish you were smarter about
I
it.
wish I was smarter.
Lane, by voting third party, you voted for Trump.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how that
you did.
works.
No, that's not how that works.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
Okay.
It depends on what
Actually,
state he
Lane.
is in. He said he's in
Lane.
Texas, so his vote
Well,
doesn't matter as much.
look, when you vote for someone who isn't on a ticket, all you do is dilute the rest of the vote for the rest of the country. It's the same people who say I don't vote because it's all rigged. All they do is dilute the vote and give it to the incumbent. That's all they do.
Gotcha.
It you know, and I'm not trying to shame you in this, but I want you to understand how that works. The whole reason why we're in this situation is because realistically, and if I had to go and criticize the Dems for anything, by all of a sudden throwing Kamala out there as the president at the end of Biden's term, rather than allowing her to run freely, all that did was dilute. It created a situation. It created a vacuum, and it allowed this country to show exactly who we are. And I want to say this the correct way.
You're not by being hyperbole.
Say what?
You're not being hyperbole.
Hyperbolic.
At any rate, what I'm saying is that we simply have to stop trying to play one side against the other and pick a side. If we're going to be for human decency, we need to be for human decency. If we're going to be for complete and total segregation, then we need to be that. But we don't need people who play both sides of the coin and try and act like, well, it's all of them that's doing this to us. No,
Wait a minute. Hold on, Alex. John Bravo said, we're in this situation because of Kamala Harris. How fucking delusional is that statement?
You didn't know she was president.
I'm just trying to figure out how she's in whatever situation you're saying we're in. How
Yeah, or how are we in this situation when she was only a VP?
I think he means just the Democrats were in charge for 4 years and fucked everything up pretty royally.
They
weren't in charge.
Since 2010 to 2011.
Wait, how though? Can you
What?
tell me how, Trustee?
The Democrats have not been in power of both houses since 2010 to 2011, Trustee. The Republicans, and I'm a Republican, have held it since then. Miss me with that bullshit.
No,
And-
they had all
And Ms. Harris was.
they
a
had all
VP, so-
houses 21 to
No, they didn't.
All
Uh,
houses? Do you think this is?
yeah, they had
Hogwarts?
all power. Biden had presidency and the Democrats had control of Congress.
No,
No.
that's wrong.
For 2 years.
He was
incorrect.
stupid, Trustee.
For
You
two-
can
It doesn't
yeah,
matter if you have Congress if you don't have the Senate.
Right.
Yeah, they had both.
No, he's absolutely
No,
correct.
did
they
not.
didn't.
Only
They had
for
the
2
House, they had
years.
Congress and the
Kamala
Senate.
Harris as the vice president, had the break point for anything to happen in. So the Senate was Democrat. Period. That's a fact.
Right. It was
We
a
can't
split
we can't change that
ticket.
shit.
Yeah,
No.
it was split.
No,
It
not
was
until
split,
the
except
Republicans
the
had a
vice
few
president
houses in
has
Congress
the tiebreaker,
after
and she was the
22.
vice
I'm
president.
gonna go ahead
So
and
it was
drop
not
because I'm
split.
tired of stupid men joining panels and not knowing
What's
what the
fucking
fuck they're
stupid
talking
about
about.
what I said, dude?
I'll go,
But
Queen.
you're wrong though. Well, okay,
I'm
give
wrong.
me. Why
It
don't you
was
just give
it
us
was
an
a
example of
50-50
what the
fucking
Democrats
split.
did?
Kamala Harris, vice president, had that's the law of the United States. Kamala Harris had the breaking point.
It's
as the
Kamala, by
vice
the way. It's Kamala.
Okay, thank you,
Kamala.
dear.
Yeah, it's Kamala. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold on
Did
one
he
second,
just say
bro.
Miss
Hold on
Harris?
one second. Hold on one
Hey,
second.
you
Hold
would
on
have
one second.
you would have corrected me on that, but you don't want to fucking correct them on the fact that the vice president of the United States has the tiebreaker on the damn Senate. That was
Yeah, what's your
100%
point? That
split.
doesn't make the
My
Democrats
point
have the
is that
majority.
it was Democrat.
Okay,
It was.
sir, let me ask you
It
a
was
question.
Democrat. Do
Okay,
you understand that?
okay.
Hold
Is
on.
my
Now,
point taken?
can
Jen, will
need to
you
stop being
shut
fucking
up and let her
disrespectful.
speak?
Oh, I'm not. I'm just saying shit, dude.
You
No,
are
Let
being
her fucking
disrespectful.
speak.
You're
Fuck,
being a
Jen.
teeny weeny peeny man. Trustee, can you tell me what the Democrats did to fuck everything up, as you said?
Well, one thing is they flooded our border with millions of illegal
No, they
invaders.
didn't.
Can you show us that evidence? That,
Yeah, there was 900,000 Venezuelans alone that were allowed to come into this
Right.
country.
Okay.
by Donald Trump, because he granted them
Right.
temporary protective status right before he left office.
No, that was all
Which
under the
means that
Democrats
it's
under
not
Biden.
No,
Biden
it
and
wasn't, sir.
Harris.
Donald Trump
Did
approved
you
the
just
temporary.
did she just fucking
Okay,
say that?
listen. If
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
gonna fucking
just say
talk
those
over me,
things.
I'm gonna drop you,
No,
dude.
I'm gonna fucking leave because this is
Okay,
retarded.
then bye, teeny weeny peeny man. Bye.
Dumbass 80 IQ bullshit.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, you go
bye.
fuck yourself, Jen. Now, trustee, can you please answer the question that was asked of you?
Yeah, I did. I said the Democrats allowed millions of
How
illegal
could
invaders.
how could that
into this
happen if it was
country.
under the first Trump
It wasn't.
administration that did
It
it?
wasn't. It wasn't.
Yes, it
It was under
was.
Biden.
Actually,
No.
it was
It-
actually after Trump, and he did it because he thought it would boost his votes with the
And
Venezuela.
it was to wreck the Biden and Harris ticket.
You're telling
So-
me
It
that
was done on purpose
It was
you're
Trump.
telling
so
me that
that they would have
Exactly.
the blame.
what? You're
Mhm.
crazy. You're
The
telling me
blame
that
was
Trump
not
shifted
crazy.
to-
Hold on. Dark,
Deliberately
Dark, let me take over
allowed
really quick.
millions of illegal
Yes.
invaders in here when he
Yes.
wasn't president to trash Biden.
Well, they weren't illegal
What?
invaders. What they were was asylum seekers that he allowed in.
Yeah.
And then when he
Illegal
decided,
invaders.
no, they were
No,
not-
shut
Let
the
her
fuck up and let
finish.
the host fucking
that-
talk.
that they were allowed in.
Gee.
And then when he decided that he wanted to run on the idea of closing the borders, he decided to pull back all of those things that he had made allowed, that he himself allowed. He pulled back all of those regulations and decided to round up people that were doing it according to the law. He was stopping them at their hearings. They were stopping them coming out of their hearings. They were going to their jobs, to their
Yeah.
homes. These were people that had been following all the legitimate steps of getting their citizenship.
They weren't
And do you
legitimate though.
remember the
Trustee,
No, they
trust-
weren't. Hold on.
Are you
hold
gonna
on,
let me
hold
respond
the
to this?
fuck-
Or are you guys just gonna shout over
Go ahead.
and say insane
Because
things?
you're sitting there and you want to talk about illegal invasion. Let's talk about illegal invasion. Go back to fucking Europe or whatever the hell you came from if you don't like
I
fucking
was
immigration.
Born in Wisconsin. I'm a
Are
United
you
States
white?
citizen.
Are you white?
Does my
Yes or
race
no?
matter for this
Yes,
conversation
it
at
does.
all?
Are you
Actually,
white? Yes or
race-
no?
white isn't a race?
White is not a race now? What?
No.
it's
It's
not.
not. There are separate parts of Europe, but I digress.
Oh.
Are you white? Yes or no?
The FBI considers me white.
Okay.
why does the FBI involved in you, with you?
The FBI considers me white.
Well, why you say the FBI? Why wouldn't you just say like
Why?
my driver's license or something like that? The
Right.
FBI seems like something that you've had experience with.
It tells me you are a felon.
And on top of that, what I was trying to get at, where do you think your ancestors came from, and how do you think they got here?
Wisconsin.
Oh,
Oh my fucking god.
I was
They
born
had
in
to come from
Wisconsin.
another country, dude.
Okay, so just because you were born in Wisconsin doesn't mean that your entire fucking family lineage was born in Wisconsin.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
nobody
from,
was. Nobody's
I'm
lineage
from
is
Illinois,
from here.
right?
Yeah,
I'm from right below you. I'm from Illinois,
cool.
right? So my ancestors didn't magically just spawn in Illinois. No.
No.
My great grandfather was born in fucking Arkansas. My grandfather, I can't remember if he was born in Alaska or I think it was maybe Washington, but he's lived all over. It doesn't matter where you're born. My ancestors on my mom's dad's side,
does.
my grandpa that I was just talking about, came from Cymru, which is Wales, and Germany. My ancestors on my dad's side, where I get my last name from, came from Ireland.
Okay, so what's your
So-
point? We shouldn't have borders in
They
this
fucking
country?
came- We should
Okay.
have borders, but
Okay.
if we want to sit there and we
But-
want to talk about immigration, they need to be a lot more fucking lax because we were built
Why?
Okay,
on the thought process of immigration.
may I on this one? May I on this one?
No, we're not.
Trustee, did you know there was a bipartisan bill for the border that you're bitching about?
No, it's just a Democrat talking point, and it's completely bullshit.
No, there was a bipartisan bill that was going to help with the border that Trump said if you vote on it, I have nothing to run on, which means the border is null and void when it comes to the Republican vote ticket.
Sounds like we didn't
They
need that bill. We just
actually
needed a new
do not
president.
care about the border.
Yeah, we
It
didn't.
is just a talking point.
But he hasn't passed any laws that have given him the
Yeah, we're
legal
just
permission to do
enforcing the
anything.
laws we already
Dude, don't
have.
talk. You don't want people to talk over you, then don't talk over other people.
We
I
don't
waited
need any-
patiently for a term.
We don't
right?
need any new laws. We already have the laws. We just need enforcement of those laws.
No, he's not doing anything except writing executive orders and implementing them
No.
like they are laws. Now I'm going to go back to your fake claim before.
That's
okay,
wrong. We're just
as
enforcing
far as
the
the
laws we already
Venezuelan
have.
goes, let me
We're
first
just
ask you this
enforcing the laws
question.
we have.
No, yeah, let me just ask you this question. Don't pivot. What day did Joe Biden get inaugurated?
Sometime around January 20th, 2021.
On January 19th of 2021, Donald Trump ordered deferred enforcement departure of 145,000 Venezuelans. Now, deferred enforced departure is a legal mechanism that stems from the president's constitutional authority over foreign policy rather than a statutory authority used for TPS. So 2 days before Joe Biden took office, he allowed for 145,000 Venezuelans to be allowed in and stay in the United States. That is a fucking fact.
I also got one more thing for you. If
So
the
why did
border
Joe
is
Biden
such a-
let the other 750,000 come in then?
How do you know
He
that? Are you
didn't.
talking about encounters or are you talking about undocumented immigrants?
Venezuelans
and
allowed
Biden-
in this country.
No. I'm asking you about encounters or
Not encounters.
undocumented immigrants. Okay, so encounters. Encounters does not mean that the person is undocumented, and it doesn't mean that the person was let in. It just
Right.
means that that is an
Allowed in.
encounter that shut up.
You asked me a
And-
question. You don't let me answer.
Well, I didn't ask you a question. I was still talking. I know in your little wee brain, you are hear yourself thinking that it's time for you to talk, but your frontal lobe
You
is
asked
not
me a
allowing
question.
you
You
to
asked me
stop. No.
You asked me for.
I'm
two answers.
answering
You didn't
because
ask
you
the
don't know the
question.
difference between an
I do.
encounter and an undocumented immigrant.
And
If
no
there's
one's
an
actually
encounter,
undocumented.
that means that they didn't enter in undocumented, because in an encounter, they would have required them to show documentation. It also doesn't take into consideration the number of people that come into the United States to work and then come back into Mexico the same day to go home.
These were Venezuelans.
You just are ignorant, and you just
You're
listen to
not
Donald
listening.
Trump, and whatever he says, you agree with.
You're not listening.
I got one more
You're just
thing for you,
shouting
trustee.
stupidities.
I got one more thing for you, trustee.
You
If
guys are
the
just gonna shout over me
border
consistently.
shut up, dude. This is going to be a question for you. If the border is such a problem, then why are we going overseas and helping is not real?
But we're helping the Middle East overall. But now
wasting
we're
you're
not.
pivoting to
billions of
Iran
dollars.
after I proved you that Biden allowed
Oh,
900,000
No, you didn't prove anything. You got
Venezuelans
dog
into
walked.
this
Trusty,
country.
You got
don't-
dog walked.
Yeah, you
Trusty,
can say that.
you're
It doesn't
not,
make it
we're not,
true.
stop,
You got dog
stop,
walked.
stop, Trusty. I'm not going off of going on in Iran.
Yeah, you
I
are.
am talking about. I'm talking about why are we not spending money here in the U.S. instead of sending it overseas? We are wasting $1 billion a day, if not more.
And committing war crimes.
Oh wow,
Right.
war crimes.
So
Oh, you
if
should
it
you
was,
should
if
try
the
us for
border,
war crimes.
stop. If the border is such a problem, why are we wasting money elsewhere?
We're not wasting money.
Yes, we
Yeah, we
are.
are.
There, are you like?
No,
have
the
your, has
Biden
your head been
administration
stuck
wasting
underneath a fucking?
absolute billions.
Shut the fuck up and let me fucking talk. Has
Oh,
your
you
head been
guys are
under a
just gonna
fucking rock?
yell.
Has your head been under a fucking rock? Because there is a G-side happening in Gaza right now with the money that we have sent over. We are directly funding that, and in connection, we are
I think we're
funding
trying to help that
BB's
actually.
war crimes. No, we're not.
Yeah, we're taking
We're
out
trying to help
Iran, which is the
No, we're
leader
not.
We're
supplier
not,
for
actually.
We're not.
Hezbollah,
We're not.
which is the
Iran
reason
is
why
actually
Palestine's
No.
such a
not
shithole.
struggling.
Okay,
No, that's not true.
fuck you. Genuinely,
So
fuck
you don't
you.
think that Hezbollah is financed by Iran?
Look, here's the deal. Two
what?
things can be said.
Uh-oh.
Two things can be correct at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Two things can be simultaneously going on, right? We can disagree with Iran and we can disagree with Hezbollah, right? But at the same time, we are not sanctioned in order to break international law. Just because they're bad people, just because we don't agree with them, does not give Donald Trump or any president, and other presidents are guilty of it, doesn't give them the right to violate the law. And that is what's happening.
What
And
law?
I can tell you
just bring up
personally because my son is sitting over there, Trustee.
cool.
My son
He
is
volunteered.
deployed. I am a Blue Star mom.
Cool. He volunteered for
Oh.
service. Awesome.
No, he volunteered to
wait.
fight for the United States, not to be a pawn in a dick measuring contest.
Well, then he shouldn't have
Hey,
volunteered
does
for
that-
the
do you
military
mind
because
no,
we don't
because
fight wars here.
how come you
If it's-
didn't? How come you haven't enlisted?
Yeah,
Who said I
why-
didn't?
Yeah, why don't you go? You need
Okay,
to go.
have you served?
Have I served in the military? No, but I swore an oath to two
Yeah,
constitutions.
so you're a
Can you
pussy.
do it
is what
now?
you're saying.
Can you
I'm
do
a
it now for your
pussy?
daddy Trump?
You're a fucking pussy. That's why.
But I gotta think for the friendlies. Does everyone?
I've
does
served in
everyone-
a different
but-
role for
hey,
this country.
Trusty,
Yeah,
shut
what'd
up.
you
I'm
serve
talking.
as?
I'm trying.
I've
flag
sworn an
boy
oath
in
to
your
two
high school?
constitutions.
Trusty, shut up.
Yeah,
I'm
uh-huh.
talking.
You guys talk like at the
To
same
the
time
front-
you ask
stop
questions, and then
talking
this
because I'm
guy
trying to
just
talk,
keeps interrupting every time that she asks a
That's
question.
because you're
It's
dumb. That's the
quite
problem.
funny.
And
You guys just
keep
want to yell at
interrupting
Trump
me,
people.
Actually,
You're
shut
fucking
the
dumb.
fuck up.
I'm
I'm just
gonna
wondering, to
own
the
you guys
friendlies, do
tonight.
you find
This
it
is
interesting
fucking great.
that we went into Afghanistan and Iraq in 2001, and then a few years later we went into Iran? Doesn't it sound similar?
This baby doesn't understand that
No, not at all.
the hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, including our allies, that Donald Trump has been disrespecting, unalived, not because of weapons of mass destruction, but for oil. And then for Donald Trump to say our allies have never been there for us, after our allies were there for us, because the only time Article 5 of the NATO treaty has been invoked was after September 11th. And thousands upon thousands upon thousands of allied troops unalived in Iraq and Afghanistan defending us, because an attack on one is an attack on all NATO countries, right? But you're too pussy to realize that because you've never strapped up your motherfucking boots.
By the way, don't even start by saying that we're out of NATO, because we need 2/3 vote in order for that to happen.
Dark, stop for a minute. We got another panelist that wants to speak. Siri, say, what do you got to say?
38 North Carolina listeners, and to somebody brought up wasteful spending earlier. Yes, we are spending money wastefully. Not to mention, Trump is still making claims as we speak for an entirely different country. So to sit there and say that we are not wastefully spending money is absolutely stupid as fuck, because it is happening. He's literally taking money from shit that we actually fucking need, like Medicaid, Medicare, and all this other stuff. Veterans, fucking veterans, because you claim to care so much about our fucking military, but yet you don't care about the fact that he's taking money away from veterans.
Or
But
just
yeah,
a big bloated administration and trying to cut fraud and waste.
actually, no.
Yeah.
He's literally taking money away from our fucking soldiers, you impudent little bitch.
He's taking money away from
Rusty,
soldiers.
are you
Please
aware
explain.
that kids like my son have no water and food right now? They have to ration it because the fucking government hasn't sent it over to them in the Middle East. You think that's the
Wow.
right thing to do to
You
fraud
guys
and
said the
abuse?
same thing during the Iraq War. These are just repeated talking points over and over again.
Bye.
So
You're
they
a
have
fucking
no
disrespectful
water.
little
Your son
cunt.
has no water.
You're a fucking
So they have
disrespectful
no
little
water.
cunt.
Your son has.
Bye. I'm not
Mhm.
going to listen to that as a
I
military.
didn't even, I didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
he was
you're
still
so
up
powerful.
here, to be honest.
Fucking sister fucking inbred motherfucker.
Wow.
And Jen, I don't know if we got your age state and who you voted for.
No, I just
48
came out.
California Harris. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
rationing water. My son's not allowed to take a shower every day, nor wash his uniforms.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Healthy.
that, well, I mean, that's crazy. Is he stationed on ground or is he on a ship?
Yeah, his Air Force intelligence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, on a ship, I'm sure they still get their showers just because on the ship, like they make their own water. So just out of the ocean.
I thought they didn't have water.
What are you talking about?
Well, the yellow ribbon chick said that they had to ration water. They weren't getting water.
My son is on land, dum dum.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
He's
no water.
talking about ships.
Sounds like they have water.
On a ship, fool, not on the
Dude.
land. My
Fool.
son is stationed somewhere in the Middle East, not on a ship. He's in the Air Force, not in the Navy.
Where's he
Potato
stationed?
head.
I'm talking about.
Is he
the
dying
Navy,
without
the-
water?
who
Well,
wouldn't?
actually, if you want to get technical, considering that I'm a trauma ICU nurse, people cannot survive very long without water. You can go
Right.
weeks, if not months, without food, but you can only go about 48 to 72 hours without water before your body starts to shut down.
Yeah, that's basic knowledge. You didn't need to give me your resume to tell me that.
Well, apparently you do
apparently
need that
apparently
because
you
you
did.
said
You're a
that
fucking
nobody's
idiot.
done aliving from water, but like, are
So
you
they do have
aware
water
what
then.
hygiene is? Like you don't think that the kids should be able to take a fucking shower?
I don't know. They're in the military.
Yeah, because you
There's-
don't give a shit. That's why, and that's why you voted
Mosquito.
for
Why do
Trump,
you allow
because
me
you
like
don't
a
give shit about anybody but
one-word
yourself.
answer? You just want to
And
rant
can
and
I-
rave because you
can I
hate
ask
Trump
a
so
question?
much.
That's
that
fine.
your
You can
son
say whatever you want. I don't give a
volunteered
fuck.
for
Mosquito.
the Air Force.
Mosquito, can I ask a question? Have you ever been in the military?
I have not.
No, he's
Okay.
a pussy.
Then I mean, I won't call you a pussy, but what I'm saying
will.
is, if you cannot sit here and talk to things about you have no business talking about, then why are you talking?
Why?
I really
I'm
wish
the
you
owner of
maggot-
the military.
I really wish you maggot filth would stop fucking talking on matters you don't know a goddamn thing about.
Well, it's not going to matter here shortly. Mosquito's going to have to be going into the draft automatically in December.
Yeah, good luck with that, buddy, because that's what your orange master's making you do. Because
I
come
don't
December,
think-
your ass is suiting and booting.
I believe that's for the voluntary enlistment is going to be automatic now, which
No,
everybody
it's
did
not.
forever when they
No,
were
it's
18,
not.
the draft.
including
No,
myself.
That's the
not
draft.
true either.
That's
Yeah,
the
you-
Not
draft.
true either.
You automatically
Son,
enlist
son,
for the draft, or
son.
you
No, you don't
automatically for the
automatically
draft when you're
enlist. You
18,
voluntarily-
You're
Talk
talking.
over
You're talking
me.
about selective service.
Selective
service is
service.
not the draft. Selective service is basically saying is registering yourself with the federal government, saying that you are of age to serve in the military. It
Yeah.
does not mean that you will be drafted.
Right,
think-
and
Draft is
neither
a completely
neither does
different-
this.
I
Doesn't mean
think
you're going to
all-
get
Actually,
drafted.
it does.
I think all
So
this
there's going to
mag-
be a
I-
draft. Is that what you're saying? There's going to be a draft,
Yeah, there's going to be a draft. And you're
Come
even though
December,
enlistment is
or
through
it's
the
not
roof,
real.
and they're turning away people yet again because
No,
everybody wants to
enlistment
serve
is
under
not
It's
through the
Trump.
not through the roof.
Enlistment
It
is not through the roof.
way
No,
up.
no, it's not. Why don't you
No.
look it up? Why don't you look up how
There-
many
there-
people
if,
that we're not having enlist in the military every year? The only people that are meeting their quota is the Marine Corps, and that's because the Marine Corps is smaller than all of the other forces. Not the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force have not met any of their quotas in the last like 3 or 4 years.
And
We
the
have
other thing you
one-
need to take into consideration, Mosquito, is the number of people leaving at the same time that those are coming in. There are more people leaving because of Donald Trump than there are coming in.
And not only that,
No
but the
matter-
people that the military has kicked out based on transgender.
Yeah, that's good.
some
Yeah, we
LGBT.
don't want
Yeah,
those
oh,
serving.
Okay.
We,
front lines.
you don't
That
do
would be
shit.
terrible.
What do
Yeah,
you mean
you're-
we?
who's
This
saying
we.
Yeah, we as the
You're not
country-
even part of
No,
this.
you guys are the vast minority. You got to realize that you're the loser minority.
We're not sure.
And then
We're
we're
not
in
the loser
charge.
minority. We
Yeah, you
flipped
are.
27 seats in
Jen-
1 year.
Jen,
We
Yeah,
can I
flipped
talk really
27
quick?
seats in 1 year, Mosquito.
Yeah, okay.
Jen,
Yeah,
can I
okay.
talk really
You're the
quick?
loser
Mosquito,
minority.
I was a
Rapunzel.
naval officer, first of all. I was served 24 years. I started
Oh,
out
that's
as
unfortunate.
enlisted, and then I
You
became
sound like
an
a
officer.
female. That's
I was
really
a
unfortunate.
jet aviator for a
Mm.
few years, and then I laterally transferred into meteorology and oceanography, which
Oh,
is
okay.
something
So
that I'm sure you can't even comprehend
So you
because a lot of
didn't do
people
any
don't
actual
even
frontline
understand.
fighting.
Shut
You're
up!
just
I'm
some
talking,
paper
Mosquito.
pusher meteorologist.
Stop.
Let her
No.
finish. Let her finish.
Yes. And I did all of that for 24 years. And you don't even, you want to talk about who does mines
Hold on one
in the
second,
ocean,
Jen.
anything that's ocean like related, that's what our community does. We do timing. We own the Naval Observatory. We do special warfare. We do mines that are being dropped in the Strait of Hormuz right now. We do anti-submarine warfare. We do
Yeah,
all
men do
kinds
that.
of things.
Men do
And
that.
it's
Wait.
just like you couldn't
Men
even
do
comprehend
that
it.
for you.
We not only that, but we
okay.
have
Men
to
do that
have
for you.
master's degrees to
Wait.
be in the military.
Wow.
What are we
Host
talking
is
about?
speaking.
Cool.
Host is speaking. Hi,
They
Rapunzel.
just keep muting me.
Hello.
Hi,
I've gotten
Brandy.
2 words in on these
G, age,
lunatics.
state, and who you voted for.
Absolute lunatics.
21 Colorado Trump.
Mhm.
Also, another reason why we're in the shit that we're in. Got it.
It's a fetus elitist, Siren. What are you talking
You
about?
guys are just
So-
whiny little babies on TikTok.
No,
The rest of
we're
the
not
country's doing
whining
great.
at all.
I want to say
You're the one-
this. I wish all you want to be
All you can do is
hardcore
mute
maggot
me.
filth
That's all you
that
have.
acts
It's a mute
tough
button.
and acts Billy Badass.
All you have is a mute
goes to the
button.
front lines right fucking now, because I
You
guarantee
go to the front lines right fucking
y'all
now,
would
then, bitch.
shit your fucking selves if
We're
y'all
not
had to
the
step
ones who
foot
vote
on
He was
the
already
You would
there,
shit
bitch.
yourself too, you fucking
He was
dumbass.
already there, bitch.
Gee,
Why
we're
don't
not the
you
ones
sign
that
up and do
voted.
it, bitch?
Gee, and Mosquito, we're not the ones that voted for this, which means you need to go to the front lines for your daddy Trump, because we are already needing boots to fill because we've lost over 500 plus people.
God, I'm getting tired of these fucking
You
maggots,
voted
man.
for this. You voted for this. Then you go.
Yeah,
Well-
Iran's
And
been a
that's
problem
why there's
forever.
going to be a draft in
You can
December.
just keep muting me, I
Your
guess.
orange child toucher doesn't give a shit about y'all, and y'all don't realize it.
He wouldn't
Wow, you're
piss on
so
you if you were on
powerful.
fire, motherfucker.
You're so powerful.
There's a reason why he wants more people on the front lines in for December.
Not
'Cause
only
he don't-
that,
He wants more meat for the grinder.
not only that, Mosquito, but when a president normally goes into something when they're planning on what they're going to do, or any commanders going in and planning what they're going to do, they look at the loss. They look at the loss of soldiers and sailors and airmen that could possibly be lost, and they take that into consideration. Trump didn't even care. He didn't even get that brief.
Because you say
He
so.
called them acceptable losses. He called them acceptable losses. That's what he thinks of our military members. He thinks of them as acceptable losses. Remember what he said about
because you
McCain?
losers say so.
He said that they were suckers and losers on the.
You guys are the
campaign trail.
losers. You're just
To him,
whiny
it's
little
collateral
TikTok
damage.
bitches.
Did you just say that John McCain is a loser?
Yes, you
John
did.
McCain
Yes,
No,
you
no,
is
no.
a
Hold on
war
one second.
hero.
Stop. Did you just say that John McCain was a loser?
Yes, you did.
As
Mosquito?
much as I
No, I
despise
didn't.
John McCain,
I did not
he
say
was
John.
still a hero to the country.
I did not say John McCain.
Do you know John McCain's story?
If you'd stop muting me, I could maybe
Who
speak
is John
for more than
McCain?
one
Do you
word.
think John McCain's a loser, T?
Who is he? Can
You're
you
just
tell
gonna
me
keep
who he is?
muting me though.
Are you
so-
fucking kidding me right now?
John McCain is
Are
the
you
ri-
fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah, you're a
John McCain is
21-year-old
one-
idiot if you don't know who John McCain is.
He is one of the
I mean, he's
most
21. What do you
well-known-
expect?
I mean, I
And he-
voted for
and
John
MAGA,
McCain.
right?
Yep.
Tell me who John McCain is.
No, you look it up. You need to do a little history lesson for yourself, bruh.
You don't know who he is?
Bruh.
Mosquito, do you think that John McCain was a loser?
You don't even. Do you even remember him trying to run for president?
I voted
Are you
for John
joking?
McCain, but later in life, I did not like John McCain very much.
Do you think that he was a war
would
hero?
rather, because you would rather side with a child toucher. That's why.
Was John
think he
McCain
was
a
a war
war
hero,
hero?
Mosquito?
I guess.
Do you
in
think
his,
he's
in his time he was considered a war hero? Yes.
Oh, so now he's not considered a war hero.
Because he was captured.
Made
Remember,
a
Jen?
lot of mistakes
Oh.
later in life, and he should have retired from
Later in
politics.
life, after he returned home from being imprisoned in the like in
In
the
the
torture
Viet
camp
Cong.
for 5 years.
In the Viet
Hold
Cong,
on one
yeah.
second. Mosquito,
One
I
at
think
a
that
time,
you're
people.
hold on one second. I think what you don't know is John McCain's story.
I think I
So
know a
John
lot about
McCain
it.
was no. You're going to be quiet and listen because
I
now
know
I'm
a
going to
lot
make you
about
feel
John
like a fucking
McCain.
asshole. Okay, first of all,
No, you're
John
just a
McCain
stupid
was a
bitch.
naval aviator who got shot
Jen.
down in Vietnam.
Yeah, I know all about John
Jen,
McCain.
let Mosquitoes tell us about John McCain since he seems to know so much about
Okay,
him.
yeah, great, good
Yeah,
idea.
he
Jen.
got.
Yes.
Well, you guys keep muting me, so it's really hard to speak
for
to
it.
you idiots.
So all yours.
So
Tell us
John
all about John
McCain.
McCain's story.
There I am being muted again. Of course, it's all you Democrats have is the mute button.
Stop
There's your-
bitching and talk, dude.
I can't. when you're
Whoever's
just
muting him,
fucking
stop.
muting me.
Yes.
Dumbass.
I want to hear.
All
I
you're
want to
doing is
hear what he
muting
Let
knows
me.
him
about
tell.
John McCain because
John
my
Ma-
dad served with John McCain.
Cool.
So I really
John
wanna hear.
McCain was shut down over Vietnam, and then he was put in a torture camp. And thank God he had political connections in there and was kept alive. But he was pretty brutally beaten
Wow,
in there.
you
And
are
then
so
came back.
misinformed.
Did he choose
It's
to be
fucking
captured?
sad, dude.
I am
Do you know
misinformed.
how
Mosquito,
wrong you are,
come on,
Mosquito?
like,
I was
really wanna hear
misinformed that they were
Mosquitoes.
using John McCain as a political pawn when they had him prisoner.
Are you really trying to say McCain chose to be captured?
I didn't say that at all.
Okay,
When
That's
so
exactly
start,
what you
start
said.
over,
that?
Mosquito. I
They
really
just
wanna
put
hear-
words in your mouth, T. This is how Democrats operate. I own them all the time.
No,
I know,
you
this is-
have Donald
I-
Trump's boot in your
You
mouth.
said you said he got put in a torture camp, and then they said so he voluntarily put himself in a torture
Right.
camp. Like, you fucking dumbass.
This is how they operate. They just have TDS. All
No,
of
you
them.
just don't know the story, Mosquito.
I do know
You
the
don't
story. It was on the
story,
History
though.
Channel. Myself growing up constantly. I know John McCain's story. Okay.
Okay, so no, you don't, because the
I
one you just
do.
told is fucking bullshit. So let me
It's
tell you the
not.
story. It is. He
Oh,
was
so your version
captured
of the
after he
story.
was shot down over Vietnam,
I said
and he
that
was
part.
put into a torture chamber. And so then they found out who his father was, and
Yep.
they said, "We're going to send you back because we have respect for your father." And you know what John McCain said?
Yeah, he
going
What
said,
did
"No,
John
I don't
McCain
want to go
say,
back.
Mosquito?
I don't want to go back because of my father's privilege." Is what you're going to say
No,
after
what he
that.
said was, "I'm not leaving my men." Because because the rules of prisoner of war says
Yeah, they didn't
the
respect his
first man
father.
in is the first man out, and he wasn't leaving his fucking men. And
First
because
man is
he
the last
decided
man
to
out.
stay,
You
shut
fucked
the
that
fuck
up.
up, you piece of
You
shit.
just fucked up your own fucking quote.
No, he stayed with his men.
Because
he
he's a
didn't
last-
Could you
leave
please
his
chill
men.
out, Jen?
He
Jen?
Hey, could you
chose
shut the
to
fuck up,
stay
T?
with
Man,
his
she's
men.
emotional.
And
She
he,
has
because of
estrogen.
that, he
She
stayed
needs
in
more
here
estrogen.
for 5 fucking years. For 5 years, he stayed in a torture chamber because he refused to leave the side of his brethren who were also there. So you can take your
Brethren.
pussy ass and
Brethren.
go and try and be as heroic as he
I don't know why
is.
you're yelling.
Yo, Jen, Cat,
Shut up,
Hey, I
faggot,
want you, Maggot,
faggot.
are you
to answer.
Democratic?
I want you, Maggotville, to answer me a question. What the fuck has Trump done for this country? What the fuck has he done for the military? When has he ever served? When have his children ever fucking served? Because last I checked, all of them are fucking draft dodgers. Every goddamn one of them. Because they are too big of fucking pussies.
His
and think that
children
they
are not
too
draft
rich to serve
dodgers.
this
Stop
country.
lying.
Yes.
Look at
His
Kamala
father
Harris's
just
kids.
changed the height requirement so Barron could not get drafted. You fucking potato.
There is no
They,
draft.
hold on. There was one more thing.
There's going to
Jen, there was
be.
one more thing to
There's
that.
yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybe whatever you say
Jen,
there.
Trump also
Your Orange
added
Master is a 5-time draft dodger, but you would still support his fucking ass.
Jen, they also Trump also added the stones or whatever that Trump had, supposedly.
Bone spurs.
Oh yeah,
supposedly.
bone spurs are
Yeah.
genetic.
Yeah.
He seems to be able to walk and do everything else perfectly fine now, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's something a lot of people don't know. If you read your history, you'll also find out that Fred Trump and their grandfather were both draft dodgers from Germany.
They were.
also find
So the new person that came up, thank you.
Donald Trump's dad came to the United States to avoid going into the military.
Huh. Like father, like
The
son.
Swansea Germany, the Swansea's army too. Yeah.
Donald Trump also
his
owned
dad
a
would
building,
definitely
an
not.
office building in downtown New York, where it just so
Look at
happened that a
That would've been, like,
podiatrist was
super gung-ho.
renting an office space in that building. And so Fred Trump said, I'll give you a deal if you write my son a letter saying that he can't be drafted because of whatever reason you want to. And that's the reason that Donald Trump didn't get drafted. But then to make it even worse, Donald Trump said that his fight was exactly like Vietnam because he didn't develop AIDS in the 80s, comparing his sexual life with what the men and women went through in Vietnam. Fucking vile human
Well,
being.
he's serving now, isn't he?
So
He's serving
just
now,
wanna-
isn't he? He's a
I really
commander in
want to
chief.
come back to
Again. So he's
I-
serving.
No, like
Mosquito, shut
He's
up.
served
Let
twice
the thing
now.
about even with Trump is like
Trump
he-
served twice.
he wants to give himself now the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's something that goes to a military member. He's
Yeah,
never
he's
served a day in
joking.
the military, and he wants to give himself the highest Medal of Honor that you can get as a military person.
Did he actually do it, or did he just?
No, he
was
wants to
joking?
do it. That's what he's asking for
But
right
when
now.
is he gonna do
And he
it?
hasn't
When is he
earned
gonna
it.
actually do it?
There should be some kind of special medal for the person who's going to get more military people unalive than anybody else.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
there
probably
should be.
something to consider. You
Biggest
should get a medal or a
loser
trophy.
medal.
He's gonna get more people
Well, but you know
unalive
what is
than in
even
World War
worse,
II.
you guys,
Okay, yeah,
is that
yeah.
Donald Trump
guys say the
said
most
that the
ridiculous,
Presidential
stupid
Medal of
things.
Freedom is better than
And
the
then
Medal
all
of
you
Honor.
have is a mute
Yes, he
button.
did say that. He said that.
Yeah. Oh, and never mind the fact that most of the Medal of Honors are given posthumously because those men and women use their lives to sacrifice to save other American lives, and they get it posthumously. But the one lady that got it because she gave $1 billion to Donald Trump, she's better.
Is this a
Fucking wild.
TDS
Mosquito,
emotional
Mosquito.
support?
Hey, Marian
Group.
Atkinson.
Does this help
if we
you guys
gotta
with
send our
therapy or
sons and
something?
daughters, if we have to
Is
send
this
our
part of
sons
your
and daughters
therapy
over there
session?
because Marian Atkinson wants something, at least we should know what the lady looks like. It gave us the opportunity to know, oh, this old bag of dirt is the reason
Mosquito, I
that
do
we
have
have
a
an
question for you.
automatic selective. Yo, thank you. We have an automatic selective service as opposed to one where people would have to go in and, I don't know, tell if they had a reason why they shouldn't be drafted, like being someone who had a disability or someone who was supposed to not be selected at all, or a conscientious objector. But now we don't have that because we got to get these kids out of here because they could be trouble in the future. They could, I don't know, protest or do something as far as politically. So doing the same thing that the elites did in Vietnam and getting the young men out of here before they can become young leaders sounds like a really fast way to eliminate a threat. Because they're not always going to be. Because they're not
Good
always
job,
going to be
Jen.
dumb like Mosquito. Mosquito's like he's a troglodyte right now, but he might grow up and mature and become
Troglodyte.
someone who's in opposition to all
Grow
of this.
up.
So getting him, unalived
40
as soon
fucking
as
two.
possible is just it's to the benefit of the country.
Is this like your guys' therapy session for TDS?
I do have a question for you, Mosquito.
Oh my God, TDS.
That's not a real condition, you dumb.
Exactly. It doesn't exist.
I do have a question for you, Mosquito. Why are we now the United States of is not real?
We're not.
We are.
Yeah, we are because we're sending all of our military members just for BB to fuck us up.
No.
Yep.
The the Middle East has been messed up for a while. We're in the grasp of
No,
fixing that. Iran is the last
no, we're
piece
not.
right now. You asked me
We
a
ain't
question. I would
fixing
like
jack
to
shit. We
explain it
never
to you
we
guys.
didn't
Fixing it. We're the ones
You
that
don't want
fucked
to
it
hear
up.
actual explanations, then, do
we
you?
didn't
What are we
fix
You don't
Iraq
fixing?
or
have an
Iran.
explanation.
What
You know
are we
nothing of
fixing?
history.
What are we
We
fixing?
Mosquito, you know absolutely nothing of history. Because if
Oh, I
you
know
knew your
quite a
history,
bit. You
you
let
would
me
know.
speak for
What
maybe a
happened with
word.
Iraq
Shut the
and
fuck up,
As you
dude.
know, I know what I'm talking about. You know that. That's why you
Mosquito?
keep
What
muting
happened
me.
for Iraq
That's why
and
you keep cutting me
Afghanistan?
off. Hmm?
Mosquito,
You do
what
not
happened?
know what you are talking about.
Can I ask
And
a question?
at the end of this, what you're going to find is that we started a lot of the tension that goes on in the Middle East as it pertains to America as a country. So
Hell, we start a lot of shit everywhere. Not just the Middle East. We start shit everywhere.
Yeah, can
yeah,
I
we
can
do.
I ask
Hold
Mosquito a
on, Alex.
question
I don't think
based on
Alex was
history?
Not
finished. I don't
done,
think
but
Alex was
okay.
finished.
I know. I just want to ask him about like the history.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
I'll
Mosquito,
succeed.
Joe
I'll land.
wasn't done.
Mosquito, I want you to tell me about all the wars. Let's just start from World War II that we've been involved with. World War II, and from World War II until now, what wars have we been involved with? Since you know the history.
You want me to list all the wars that we've been
Yep,
involved with?
I do. Since
Like
World War II.
major wars?
All of
Okay,
the
World
wars that
War
we've been
II.
involved with since World War II.
So the European and Pacific Theater. Let's see here. Then we moved to Korea. Then we moved to Vietnam. And then in the 80s, we were involved with Cuba and the Russian bullshit. And then we moved into
Was that a war
Iraq.
though? Was Cuba and Russia a war other than cold?
Depends on how you define war.
I mean,
it was a military
I'm-
ramp up
If you
for a
are
while.
pew-pewing other people, that is a war. If you're not, that's a cold war.
Okay, so
Apparently
let's go
he's
from
forgotten.
Vietnam. Let's go from Vietnam. Let's go from
Apparently
Vietnam.
he's forgotten Panama. Apparently he's forgotten Grenada.
Let's
Apparently
go.
he's
Let's
forgotten.
yeah. Let's just go from Vietnam. Mosquito.
Want me to list shit?
Yeah. I mean,
Since you know the history so well.
Well, we were talking about the Middle East.
no, but I'm asking you since you said you know the history so well, but do you know why that every war has like a cause and effect? Like they aren't not all tied together, but some majority of them are. And
Right,
majority of how
because-
we fight them, there's a reason how we've done the things that we've done and how we've learned from the mistakes that we've made. Believe me, I was a senior officer in the military, so don't think that I don't know what I'm talking about. I was always involved in operational planning, and anytime we went in to do anything, and I was senior, and then not only that, but I was an admiral's aide at one point in my career. So I mean, I was involved in a lot of big Navy, how the sausage was made planning. So I just think that you want to talk about history, you need to talk about like why we went into the Korean War, why the Korean War, and why we went to Vietnam, and why Vietnam
communism?
sucked. No,
it was not.
Oh my gosh, no.
So the Korean
And-
War was not about communism.
No, not at all. Like communism, when I
about?
went through, it had
there was
nothing to
only
do with
one-
communism. It was basically an extra coming off of World War II, but there was already going on stuff with North Korea, but we didn't want to get into another war because we had just gotten our asses kicked, which everyone in the world had gotten their asses kicked from World War II. World War II
No,
took
we
out
won
generations
World War II.
of
We didn't
people.
get our asses kicked.
Oh my God. It took out generations of people, including
was-
Americans. It
But
took
we
out
won the
generations
war.
of families.
But
No,
we won the war.
no one won World War II.
Okay, no one wins wars, but in a war standpoint, we did win the war.
No, we did not.
Well, we're not
We
speaking
can
No
German
one
right
won
now.
World War II. Like I
Germany
said,
does not
it
own
took out-
Europe.
It took out generations of families in World War II. Do you realize that it like whole
Sure,
generations
people
of
lose their
families
lives
got
in
taken
war.
out?
I understand that.
No,
But you're
Wait,
telling me the
Mosquito,
Korean War was not about
Oh,
communism.
stop making excuses, dude.
Mosquito, you just said nobody wins wars. Then why are we in this?
Right. But there was only one true communist country in this lifetime, and that was the USSR, which has been disbanded since World War II.
No, Vietnam was communist, Cuba was communist, North
No,
Korea
there
is
Oh my
was.
God.
communist.
All these had to do with World War II. Korea
Yeah, there's a
and
lot of shit
Vietnam
to clean
all
up
had
after
to
World War
do.
II.
They were
World
all
War
had.
II
They
was the
all were
last.
coming off of World War II. Believe me, honey, I got a master's degree in military education too. So don't think that I don't know what I'm talking about. They were
Cool, that
all
means
coming off of World
nothing.
War II.
So you
Oh
spent
yeah,
some time
because
in
I'm so
school.
sure,
But
Mosquito, that you're
listen,
so smart about all of this too.
Mosquito, you
Yeah,
need
I'm
to
more
listen.
educated
The
than you.
last
Guaranteed.
stop,
No, you're
Mosquito.
not. I'm positive of that, Mosquito.
But
Guaranteed.
Mosquito, listen one more time. The last time we had a communist country was the USSR, which means that we do not have communism anymore. There is no more true communist country.
Okay, dude. And first and foremost, communism was invented to sabotage socialism because Karl Marx was a freaking cuck. Cuck. Oopsies. Sorry, TikTok shop. Anyway, yeah, he was a cuck. And Frederick Engels' daddy, being big time capitalist himself, funded Marx to create capitalism in order to sabotage socialism. Anyway, so yeah, young man, the reality is that you're in a time place where you have a bunch of really bad interests against the United States. And people like you are making it very, very easy to sabotage your own country that you have to live in. Because, like, it would be one thing if we were talking about, like, Game of Thrones or talking about Battleship, but it just so happens to be we're talking about the place that we live. So when you make the place that we live a hellhole, it means you have to live in said hellhole. You see how it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to destroy, the place that you live?
You think we're destroying the United States right now, and you think I'm a young man.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
How young do
Say
you
you're
think
a
I
fucking
am?
toddler? Should I say
How young are you, Mosquito?
I don't know. She says I'm a young man.
32.
I'm 42.
Oh wow,
All right,
you're
yeah.
so
So
old,
Balls have dropped.
Mosquito.
Good job.
off.
Your balls have
Okay.
dropped. Good job.
But I do have a thing for you. Mosquito, who started this Iran and Israel war?
Iran?
No.
Oh my God.
How could Iran start it when they don't have the capability to send a missile to us?
It's not even that. It's not even about the missile. It's
You know,
the
we have
fact that for the last 50 years, Iran and the United States have had a like unwritten rule of just being kosher with each other. Like, do you not think that we have bases in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, in Bahrain? We have bases all over in the Middle East.
They've
And
attacked us, though.
Has Iran
No, they
attacked
didn't.
any of those bases
They didn't
in the
attack the
last
U.S. call?
50 years?
They
When?
didn't attack us, dude.
They didn't
We
attack the
attacked
U.S.
them.
call?
That they have
No.
The only thing they have done is protect themselves because
Iran
of
has never
us.
attacked us.
When in the last 50 years?
The
Please tell
U.S.
me.
call.
The
No,
Cole
they
was
didn't attack us.
it was a T group. It wasn't
It's
specifically
sponsored by
Iran.
Iran. Oh,
No,
so
it
it's
was
kind of like the
not.
Democrats funding the Southern
No,
Poverty
it was
Law Center.
Osama. It was Osama
Mhm.
B.
You're
Wire.
not going to bring up the
Osama bin
Osama.
USS
Laden
goal.
had
No, you're
nothing
not
to
going to
do
bring up
with
the USS
anything.
goal, sir. You're not going to bring up the USS goal because you're
Why?
forgetting the USS Liberty. You're forgetting USS Liberty. Did you forget Liberty?
And
Yo,
Osama bin
dude,
Laden had
please.
nothing to do with anything.
Please,
He was
Jesus.
he was
just
part of a
a
T group.
scapegoat. No, he wasn't. He was an scapegoat.
Okay.
Well, what I'm saying is
That's-
Osama bin Laden took credit for the coal, and I will tell you, one of my best friends in high school that we joined the Navy together. She was on the coal. She got out like after 2 years after that because she had so much PTSD. So, I know the background. I mean, like I said, I was in the Navy for 24 years, so you can't just think that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Iran had nothing to do with that, is what you're saying.
Jesus fucking Christ. Is Osama bin Laden from Iran or is he from Saudi Arabia? Is it just so happened to be that
was in
13 of the
Iraq
fucking
or
hijackers,
Afghanistan.
13 of the fucking hijackers were from Saudi Arabia? That's
No, they
kind of
weren't.
weird.
No hijacker was from the Middle East.
The
That
fuck?
was a
Excuse
fraud.
me, sir. I know exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Then you're believing a lie.
Are you trying to say, Dark, that the Cole was not attacked by Osama bin Laden?
No,
Is
I'm
that what
telling
you're
you, the,
trying to
the
say?
the hijacked planes had nothing to.
The
That
Cole
was an
is not a
escape.
plane, it's a ship.
USS Cole, Dark Aries. Do you have any opinion?
On the ship, I have no idea. But you're.
No.
Well,
Oh my God.
Mama T, if you really want me to go off on you,
I'm gonna
I will.
clarify.
I am
I'm gonna
not
clarify.
fucking.
I'm gonna clarify. I said 13 of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, and that was a reference to 9/11. I was the
None
one
of
who
the
pointed to that.
hijackers
But
were
they
part
were
of
from fucking
Osama bin
Saudi
Laden.
Arabia.
They were not
Jesus fucking,
tied. They were
Jesus
not
fucking
tied
Christ.
to the 9/11 cause at all.
Will
You
you
have
let her
fallen
quit?
for
Will you let her
propaganda.
finish? Will you let her finish, Dark?
Why? Because
Okay,
she's falling for propaganda. There was
it's
no
not
actual
fucking
proof.
propaganda. You're just not getting the fuck. You're not
Okay,
It's
getting.
wait,
not. It's
everybody,
not
everybody,
propaganda.
calm down. One at a time, please. One at a time.
They're eating
I was
their
That's not how we
own
do.
now.
That's
This
not how
is
we do things
brilliant.
here. Everybody,
They're
one at a
eating
time,
their
please.
own.
I was clarifying that 13 of the hijackers were confirmed to have been from Saudi Arabia. Saudi
No, they
Arabia.
weren't.
Dear God.
Let her finish, please.
Saudi Arabia, again, being like the big bad for Iran, because Iran are Shia, Saudis are Sunni. In addition to that, Saudi Arabia being the besties with Israel in the region currently. The fact of the matter is that there were also 5 Israeli Mossad agents who were arrested the date of 9/11 right outside of a woman's house who were dancing. They're referred to as the dancing Israelis. And they also, just conveniently, the vein that they were in was tested not only positive but saturated in boom boom material. This is a fact. This is not something that is. It's a
It is false
hypothetical.
information, lady. You
Ma'am, I
have
don't.
fallen for the propaganda.
Sir,
You have fallen for the fact that the U.S. were actually the reason behind 9/11. They were the
you are
cause of
very
it.
slow. You are very slow.
No,
I'm just gonna
you
let
have
them
fallen for the
eat their own.
propaganda that
I don't know
Bush
why we're on
put the blame
9/11 now.
on Afghanistan
Don't
and Iraq.
understand.
The Saudi
You
Arabia,
fell for the
Saudi Arabia is
Propaganda, Dark Aries, propaganda. Tell us. Please tell us more
It was
about your
a U.S.
conspiracy
based.
theory.
The
Go ahead.
actual incident was based in the United States. They just used an scapegoat to start
okay.
an
Again,
endless
I
war.
literally,
They're doing the same thing now.
Dear
How long
God,
do I
sir,
give this?
you don't
You're
understand.
saying that 9/11 was done
Caused
by
by
our
the
government?
U.S. and the U.S. alone.
Oh my God.
Okay, sir, they're called.
All right,
Bye,
he's nuts.
conspiracy theorists. Bye.
There are
This
called.
is not a conspiracy theorist. You can
Yeah, it is.
actually go
Yeah,
look
it
this
is.
shit
No,
up.
you are
The
wrong. You are wrong.
Iraq and Afghanistan had nothing to do with 9/11.
You are wrong.
No, I'm not. You have fallen for the propaganda.
No, no.
Sir, do you understand
How
that there's something called.
educated are you, Dark Aries? Are you a scientist? Do you know how towers fall? Please,
Those towers were
please
those
tell us
towers fell
about your
because of
knowledge.
dynamite.
No, they
Those towers
didn't.
fell because of dynamite.
No, they didn't.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, so you're a scientist, right?
What?
You're
You
a
No.
can tell by
scientist.
They
the
You
fell. They
understand
understand,
how
fell.
towers
They
guys.
fell
fall.
because they were
Hold
rock
on,
and
everybody.
Okay,
Stop for a
concrete,
bye,
minute.
and it's
conspiracy
structural
theorist.
Hold
engineering.
on for a
It
minute.
has
Hold
to
on
do
for a
with
minute. Hold on
structural
for a minute.
engineering. It has to
Hold
do
on for a
with
minute.
structural engineering.
The structural engineering
D-
was fine, which
Dark,
means
shut up for
that
a second.
where they planes supposedly hit the buildings,
Dark, shut up or
the
I'll
part
mute
of the
you.
building would have collapsed on top of itself. It doesn't mean that it would fall in completely.
I tried to warn you, dude. Look here.
Thank you.
I
You just don't
understand.
want to hear the fucking truth.
No, it's disinformation. I will tell you that right now because I will tell you when I was in the
100%
military. No,
misinformation. Thank you.
I will
It's
tell you
not
when I no
misinformation. You just don't want to listen to
Dark.
fucking.
No,
You just
you know
want to
what,
follow
Dark?
the propaganda. And
Dark.
fuck you.
Dark.
Listen to
Let
me.
other people
When
speak
I
one
was
at
in
a
the
time.
military,
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
he got off. when I was in the military, I had a
No, he
TS
got me
SCI
flagged, so I had to
above
drop it.
that.
He,
I
Hold
had
on.
he
I
got
had
me
a
The host
flagged
is
for
speaking.
misinformation, so I
yes.
had to drop him.
That is so wrong. I mean, believe me, I was still in the Navy during 9/11, and I had a high clearance. I mean, my clearance just ran out last year, but I had a TS SCI. I flew on the Doomsday aircraft when I was at Stratcom. I know things, and like for people to say that 9/11, like that was all done by
Conspiracy
Americans,
theory.
that is so awful to say about. I mean, granted, the government, yes, they do things to keep people shielded. This administration, I don't have any, like, I don't even know what the hell's going on, and I won't even try to say, because I retired a few years ago. But before that, when I was in the military, like, I had a high clearance, and I saw how the sausage was made. And the government, it's not like they purposely try to not be transparent. It's just that if they were so transparent about everything, people would freak the fuck out, you know? And it's a lot of the times it's not stuff that we need to freak out about, you know?
Jen, you're right. It's not the shit we need to freak out about. But our government lies to us.
Yes, and I agree with that now, but like,
My dad is a Marine.
I'll give you an
Thank
example.
you for your service, Jen.
It was my pleasure, but I'll give you an example. Like a few years ago, remember when like those Chinese balloons, people were freaking out about that?
Yes.
Those have been happening for years.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Exactly.
Right. It's not even a joke. They're weather balloons. They have been going over our country, and they have every right to do. People don't realize, and this is not something that's like secret or top secret. We actually have.
It wasn't a weather balloon.
It
was China fucking with
you can even
Biden.
kind of go back to this with like even Iran, but we have like agreements with like Russia and China that it's called like what is it called? Something skies. I can't remember what it is.
Yes,
But
it
you can
is.
Google. But like it's like
Yes.
we are allowed to go and fly over Russia and like not really spy on them, but basically look and to make sure that their nuclear weapons are still intact. And they are allowed to come over and fly over our country and make sure that our nuclear weapons are intact, because we have these agreements saying like, hey, we're not going to do this with our nuclear weapons as long as you don't do this with your nuclear weapons. And that's just a common, I mean, if you never worked for the government, like you wouldn't know it, but you could Google it and you would
are
understand.
100% right.
Yeah. So, I mean, what literally China was doing was these were little weather balloons, and they've been doing it for years, and we
Cameras
have
on
an
'em?
agreement with them to do that. It's
And
just,
you know, though, Jen,
They had cameras
that
on them.
okay. So let's
Or
talk
weather
about all of
balloons.
these things that the
Or
United
spy
States
balloons.
government has talked about. All of these pictures, satellite views. Let's take and again, guys, I'm not trying to piss anybody off
Oh my gosh.
or stand over anybody.
All right, guys. I'm getting out of this one. Hold on. All right. I'm out. They're eating their own, talking about how 9/11 was an inside job. And China's just flying weather balloons over the country. And they're spy balloons. Wow. What'd you guys think of that one? Let's hit that subscribe button, guys, for more cool content of liberals going crazy. Who knew that some of them are truthers? I thought that was more of a Republican thing, but I guess it goes both ways. Subscribe, comment, like, and we will see you.